everybody, folks. Welcome to the Wind Down. I am your host, Derek Graham. Um, this is the Wind Down. 7 to 9 Wednesdays. We are live two places at the same time. We are live on Facebook, Derek E. Graham. Don't forget the E. It'll be so much easier to find. You'll see that poster, the Wind Down, on my profile pic. Also, on TikTok, Amaruk, AMARUK underscore son of an immortal. Son of an immortal. Uh 7 to 9 Wednesdays, the wind down. Let's get it. Now, I played that song first because I had to kind of mellow myself out. Um we when I was studying for my show, I'll put it that way. When I was studying for my show, I discovered some other things that were going on locally. So we're going to get into them in a minute, but it's all connected. What do I mean by connected? In my opinion, the black family is at war, but the many of the black family are choosing not to acknowledge what we're going through. And I say we choose not to acknowledge by our action, definitely our words, but more so our action. So let's get into the conversation. Uh, First, we're going to get into some national type news, and then, or statistics, I should say, and then we're going to get into some local Baltimore stuff. Baltimore County, it used to be so nice. So nice. Anyway, let's get it. Black children in 2025 missing, missing 3,274 reported. Now, let's say we just take half of that or a third of that and take it away just on runaways, teenagers, being a little upset about whatever's going on in the household or getting in trouble. We can do that, right? We can do that. We all know teenagers, whether we were their age or adults, we've all known that teenagers run away in whatever situation they deem they need to get away, right? And it's not all bad, but some of them need to get away, so they run away. Okay, that still leaves over 1,500 a year. Okay, okay. So hold up. I put some screenshots together. Now, uh, 1 in 3 missing children. 1 in 3 missing children are black. That's 33%, folks. 33%. They keep on telling us we are nothing but 13 to 15% of the population. So we're doubling on that aspect of our children coming up missing. We're doubling anybody else, right? Okay. Now, when things were looked at as far as reason, um, and it says that the black children have an elevated risk of sex trafficking, gang exploitation, and then at the same time, we know this. We know that gangs are real heavy and prevalent in certain cities and certain areas where the population is very heavy with black folks. We understand that. We definitely understand the sex trafficking because of how this country started. Whether we choose to understand it or not, or we choose to acknowledge it or not, a big piece of slavery was sex trafficking. We need to understand that as, in fact, I'm going to start choosing my words wisely because I don't want my lives to get cut off because of some of this conversation. So you'll understand what I'm saying, right? Trafficking, we'll say it that. Okay. Now, in that same elevated risk, we get less media attention, and also we get less institutional urgency. You know what institutional urgency means? That means the police are right on it. That means whatever services they have to try to find our children, It's not getting the same attention as other folks' children. That aspect of it, just that aspect of it, is racism. When people keep on saying that black folks are racist, nah. When you can control the media, when you can control what gets investigated, even if it's illegal and atrocious, and it's a racial slant that everybody can see, that's racism, folks. 100%. But now let me get into this. Oh, and I read that someone wanted to. I'm not going to say someone. I'm going to say probably a group. They wanted to do ebony alert, which would, I guess, rival the Amber Alert. But I don't like that aspect of it because you're going to the people that are giving you less media attention and less institutional urgency. That's the way it was written, right? Institutional urgency. And then you want them to give you a special alert for black children. Nah, the Amber Alert is enough. If we choose, this is when folks with the know-how as well as the economics that love black folks will come into play. Okay? We choose to do the Ebony Alert, but we haven't. We could do it state by state until it's all over. We can partner with certain mobile companies, certain phone companies to light it up. We may have to pay a fee, but everything, this is America. They selling everything. We understand that, right? Ebony Alert should be for us to do. Amber Alert, they still do black children on Amber Alert. They just don't give it the proper attention. They don't push it as much. But we can follow the Amber Alert right with the Ebony Alert. Yeah, this Amber Alert is connected to this child, this black child. If we want it out there like that, that's for us to do, whether we choose to understand that or not. Now let me get to here we go. Let me read this screenshot that I took real quick. This is about Virginia. Roughly 63 children in the state were reported missing to National Center for Missing and Exploited Children over a recent single month span. 63 in Virginia in 1 month. While these reports highlight significant local community concerns, Virginia State Police, this is the institutional urgency, note that these figures appear consistent with state baselines because Virginia is unique in forwarding every missing child case to the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children, which make local numbers appear disproportionately high compared to other states. So what they're actually saying is Virginians doing their job. They're reporting every missing child, but the other states aren't. The other states are underreporting. So there are a lot more black children missing nationally than they're even reporting. That's institutional urgency that we have to understand. The states aren't even reporting our children missing. They taking the reports. They might even go investigate, go to their school, to the friends, and then that's it. That's what it sounds like to me. That's what it sounds like to me. So I will give a big up to Virginia for at least reporting all. Because apparently the other 49 states, they ain't that important. You know, the black kids ain't that important. You know what I'm saying? They're not that important. Let me see if this screenshot, if I across Virginia, the vast majority of all missing juvenile cases are resolved across Virginia, the vast majority of all missing juveniles are resolved quickly and safely as runaways. That's what I was saying, right? However, Community organizations actively advocate and search for long term missing and endangered black youth across cities like Richmond, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, and Hampton. Those are that's where we at in Virginia. We're in a lot of Northern Virginia also, right? But that's where we are. Black youth across Richmond, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, and Hampton. Mostly runaways, which is what I was saying, right? Okay. That's on, in my opinion, that's on us in a lot of this. Now, what are they getting snatched up for? They're getting, choose not to acknowledge this. They're getting snatched up for torture, sex, and organ harvesting. Melanated organs are worth far more on the black market than we can even comprehend. Melanated organs are the most expensive organs on the black market because melanin is in everything. Well, not everything. Okay. Okay. Let's go to a couple of other things. There we go. There we go. Now, also nationally, it's been all over social media as far as this brother Sean Gathright. He's I don't know if they're convicted yet, but he was in the little crew that killed the rapper Julio or Julio, whichever it was. He was a young rapper. The way he looked, he wasn't 25. Got set up by a woman. She's locked up too. Young lady, young black woman, and this brother Sean is definitely guilty. They have him now. When Sean's lawyer was speaking to the judge, right? And he was speaking to the judge. He told the judge basically, please spare his life because all of them are eligible for the death penalty. I believe it's in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. So they're all eligible for the death penalty because it's definitely premeditated first degree murder. The way the setup went, it's definitely premeditated, right? Now, his lawyers told the judge, please don't kill him because we can use him. How can you use a prisoner that's locked up forever? Well, you have a whole lot of inmates that are, let me see some of the industry. They're making fast food restaurant uniforms. They're definitely making office furniture. The furniture you have in your office at work or in your office at home may have been put together by an inmate. They definitely on them farms. I know they on them farms. See, in my opinion, that was they couldn't do it, I'm gonna say fast enough, or they didn't understand the mechanics of it. But when the mass deportation of so-called illegals went on, they were expecting, well, they definitely were expecting some black folks to take them jobs. Now we've done it. But they were expecting to shift that to prisoners. You understand? Because they're already there. They're already on plantations, what they call farms now, right? They have it now in Maryland. We have Hagerstown. The nickname for Hagerstown is the farm. That's what the nickname for that. Now, do they grow anything? I don't know. I know they house a lot of us, but did they ever grow something? Most likely to get that nickname being the farm, right? Okay. Told the judge that they could, in fact, that not that they could. This is what he said. In reality, we need that labor. He called it sweat equity. Sweat equity from this young man instead of taking his life because of his crime. Now we're gonna. Do y'all remember Django? Do y'all remember Django when he got captured and they were talking about sending him to the mine and Samuel Jackson was talking to him about that, one of the first things Samuel Jackson said was, they're going to take your name and give you a number, and they're going to work you until you're done. That's what they're talking about with this young brother, Sean. Now, do I think that he should be punished for killing that young man? Definitely. We're not talking about no prison. We're talking about how in the in the 13th Amendment, in the 13th Amendment, as far as in the 13th Amendment, as far as I'm sorry, I'm looking for a screenshot. I didn't screenshot. 13th Amendment in the Constitution saying that everybody's free from slavery except except you get convicted of a crime. Then they could do whatever they want to do if they were doing in slavery. Imagine that. We overlook that. I'm not gonna act like going to prison isn't a badge of honor for a lot of young black men and the women that love them. It's a bad you gonna see what kind of man you become. I don't need to go to prison. What kind of man I am. I'm going to prison for correction because I messed up, because my head ain't screwed on right. But many of us take that as a badge of honor to do my time. Now, should you do your time without telling on somebody? I agree with that aspect. If you did it, you're supposed to do your time. But that don't make you a man. That makes you an inmate. And concerning the Constitution, it makes you a slave. Think about that aspect of what I'm talking about. Just think about that aspect. Now, let's get to some local things that have happened very recently, within the last week, in Baltimore and in Baltimore County. And my thought process is everybody's attacking the black community, right? We understand that voting rights been stripped. A lot of racist police officers on the force. That's not an if, that's a guarantee, right? A lot of politicians are starting to show their colors, right? And then you have the black community doing it to ourselves. I just said we take prison as a badge of honor, which means breaking law in many folks' mind is okay. It can't be a badge of honor if what you're doing is not honorable, right? So I believe this happened yesterday or maybe this weekend. There was a fight at the Douglas graduation, Frederick Douglass High School, right? Named after one of our heroes. Named after one of our heroes. And they're actually in the middle. I'm sure they moved the school because they're in the middle of rehabbing the whole Douglass High School. So they probably moved the students for a year or two to the rehab. But the graduation, there was a fight. And I am proud to say adults broke it up. They didn't join in. They didn't. Now the children were videoing and running their mouth, doing what children do for this time where cameras matter and likes and video views matter, right? But the adults went. I saw one brother, basically a young lady was getting jumped by more than two other young women. I saw a brother jump on her and cover her with him. And then the youngins chilled out, which definitely means at least they respected the elder. That was the minimum. But fighting at a graduation, that should be unheard of. But that's us. We did that. We can't act like it's not going on. Fighting at a celebration, the next step to your life It was the ending of childhood, and you're stepping into adulthood with high school graduation, and you scrapping. That's us. That's us, folks. That's us. Okay. Now let's go a little bit deeper. In fact, I'm gonna take a pause real quick, and yeah, I'm gonna take a pause and play a song real quick. Uh, before I get to this next part, because I really don't. I need to calm down. But anyway, folks, it's the wind down, and I am your host. We be back in a minute. I am your host, Derek Graham. Hey, folks, welcome back to the wind down. I am your host, Derek Graham. We are live in two places at the same time, Facebook and TikTok. Um, let's get back to this topic. The topic is the black family having odds with everyone, including the black family. Um, I just played who was that? That was Bilal with Dre and Jada. Fast Lane. Fast Lane. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about how we treat each other. That's usually considered the fast lane when it's negative, right? Okay. Now let's get to um, what happened in Owens Mills. Owens Mills is Baltimore County. Baltimore County surrounds Baltimore City on all sides, except for the harbor, except for the water. Baltimore County surrounds all sides, right? Owens Mills, I have to say, I'm gonna say it still is. Owens Mills is a prestigious black area in Baltimore County. Wonderful homes, wonderful scenery, wonderful stores, top notch grocery stores. I want to say very good grocery stores. I say very good. Apartments, condos, single family homes, all townhouses, all of that. Building schools just for that area, right? It took them maybe 30 years to build Owens Mills up. It's a very nice area. But this happened this week. A 13-year-old girl was beat inside of a house in Owens Mills until she was unconscious. She was beat by three other girls. Now, all of these young ladies are in middle school. No adults are involved. No high school children are involved. Well, they're still looking for one young lady that participated. They locked up three. So I don't know how old the other one is, but for the most part, they're hanging with people their age, right? This young lady got beat to a point where she was unconscious. They had to call the authorities because, and it wasn't her house, somebody else's house. That part of it I didn't get as far as whose house it was, and I'm sure they're keeping it on the low. They're probably trying to keep as much as possible on the low because they're all 13 and 14 years old. That's how old they are. Now, let me see. Beat unconscious, three. First degree assault, right? First degree assault. Now, within that, one of the mothers of the young ladies that was arrested, right? One of the young ladies that was arrested, her mother posted something in Baltimore. We have something called Instagram, um, Murder Inc. Baltimore. I think it's in every major city or whatever, and they report on the violence in different situations, right? Okay. She went off in this long paragraph saying that the young lady was being very promiscuous uh, that day and days before that with a lot of different young men. And I guess that's why it's like she's the mother is giving a reason why it was okay for her child and three other children to jump that young lady. That's what it came out. That's how it came out. I'll say it that. That's how it came out with the paragraph that I read concerning the mother, what the mother said. Okay? Giving her child an excuse. See, she's the type of mother that'll go up to the school for a conference and believe the child over the teachers and the administrator, even though she saw the video too. Because I want to say her first sentence was, "I hate that they posted that." Well, we all hate that it was posted, but the information probably wouldn't have got out unless they posted it. All of those arrests may not have happened unless it was posted, right? Okay. These are middle school girls. These are middle school girls with at least one mother giving an excuse of why her child should be okay. And then she said this: it was only assault. It wasn't, she said the great word, right? And I'm thinking to myself, only assault. So I had to get my research. Those young ladies at 13 and 14-year-old were arrested, and the charge was first degree assault. First degree assault. Now, let's look into, or should I say, let me read off the Maryland statute for first degree assault, right? First degree assault in Maryland is a severe felony offense punishable by up to 25 years in prison. It involves committing second degree assault by intentionally causing or attempting to cause serious physical injury, intentionally strangling someone, or committing the assault with a firearm. So that means a weapon or doing something that may kill somebody. But the mother said, it ain't nothing but assault. It ain't nothing but assault. Them babies are charged with first degree. A person commits first degree assault if they meet the criteria of a second degree assault, and aggravating factors are use of a firearm, right? Serious physical injury. Let me calm down. Serious physical injury, conduct that creates a substantial risk of death, permanent disfigurement, or the loss, impairment of any bodily function. And then it says strangulation, intentionally impeding the normal breathing or blood circulation of another person by applying pressure to their throat or neck. That's what they're facing. And it's on film. It's on. Remember, just a few minutes I was talking about the fight at Douglas High School and how the youngins pulled out their camera to video. That's what they did while they were committing crime, while they were committing first degree assault. Somebody was filming it, and then they uploaded it because they think it's what they're supposed to do, because they think it's the thing to do, to commit crimes and show everybody what we did. Not a head up scrap, 4 of y'all on one young lady, and then y'all posted y'all crime. There's a local community activist, brother by the name of Uncle T, right? From what I've never met the brother, but from what I see and hear, he's a real soldier for the youth in the community, right? He was at a press conference once with our mayor, Brandon Scott, and he said they were talking about the children and the adults need to step up when handling their children. He said something to the effect, what if the community, I can't use the word, they already sent me something on TikTok because I used the word earlier in the show. But he basically said, what if I'm going to say it's the R word, I'll say target, right? What if the community is that? And that's what that mother is. Whether we choose to understand it or not, the mother's okay with her daughter. She's giving her child excuses. She's giving her child experience. How many, hopefully the other parents aren't, hopefully they have their child sitting in a room by themselves with no phone and no TV so they can get used to being in a room by themselves with no phone and no TV. Because it's very, they're not going to get charged as adults, but they definitely, all of them, can be arrested and locked up until they're 18. Easily, maybe 21. Maybe 21. Because juvenile facilities, I know Hickey School is a locked facility for juveniles, and they age out at 21. I believe juvenile life in Maryland is 21. So they can be locked up for the next 8 years. At 13, 14, they can't comprehend. And I hope the other parents are on them and making them understand what's going on with their own life. How actions matter. How you treat people matter. How you treat people that look like you matter. Black family is under duress from other black folk, along with the rest of the country that's attacking. That's what. Now I do want to. I want to touch bases on. I'm gonna give an instance of how I was raised and how parents. And I'm thinking of me being a juvenile, but I'm a parent and a grandparent now, and I understand certain things about how I was raised and how it helped me. Okay. This past weekend, Saturday, one of the neighborhood mothers that I grew up with, Miss Linda, from the square in Baltimore County. I was out there when it was cow fields and no and no sidewalks, right? But Miss Linda, she kept her children close, not by being strict. Her son, Cliffy, he's a hip hop head to this day. He's one of my OGs. Him and his little sister, Lene was the hostess. Cliffy was the DJ. They were allowed to have house parties at Miss Linda's house. That's their house too, but you understand what I'm saying. She kept them close through what they liked. We were allowed to be over Miss Linda's house. From what I never needed it, but from what I understand, if you needed somewhere to sleep or be, you could be in Miss Linda's house and be safe. That's what she did for her children and the children in the neighborhood, right? That's what parents need to get back to. And I still, this is funny to me, but the first house party I went to, and I'm telling my mother about the house party, you know what my mother said? Get their phone number so I could talk to their mother or whatever adults in the house. The father and mother was in the house, right? But my mother talked to Miss Linda. I don't know what she asked, but I can imagine it being a parent now who's going to be there. Are you going to be there? What's going on? Just to get to know where your child is going and who your child is going to be around. Not allowing them to just, Mom gone, I'm out of here. That kind of stuff, I'm going to say it goes on a whole lot today. It goes on a whole lot today. And I'm going to say this before I switch gears. All of our children have phones. If your child has a phone, you're supposed to have the password and to be able to check it when you feel like it. And also, you should also be, what do they call it? You can find folks, your location, their location should never be cut off. And when it's cut off, they're punished and the phone gets taken because you're supposed to know where your child is all the time. That's my opinion from having an understanding of the mother, Miss Linda, and my mother, and how they moved as parents and keeping us close and having an understanding of what we were doing when. We have to get back to that. It's a must, folks. I don't think we understand, but it's a must, folks. Definitely a must. But we're gonna change gears, get out of this little because I'm upset. This topic of us having to fight everybody else and then fight ourselves for survival. It has me pissed. Without a doubt, we have so much right now. I don't understand the things we could do right now with nobody's help. We just treat each other, right? Anyway, let's go. We're gonna do a little happy song. We're gonna do a happy song if y'all heard of it. Anyway, this is the wind down. I'll be back in a minute, folks. Hey, folks, welcome back to the wind down. I am your host, Derek Graham, and we are live in two places at the same time. Hey, that was Dead Prez, Happiness, Dead Prez. I want to say it's off their first album. I think it's off their first album. Get Free, I believe. I believe. Anyway, well, we could do some happy news right now. We can. Chud the Builder was arrested last week for. Let me describe what I've read up on it, the whole situation. So he had a court date. I don't know what the court date was for. I didn't get that information, but he had a court date, and he left the courtroom, left the courthouse. He was still on their property. Went to his car, strapped up, came back towards the courthouse to harass a brother, right? The brother, from what I understand, he knew who he was. But whatever, when Chud was, because I don't know if y'all know, but he's very disrespectful and very racist, and he tries to bait black folks into putting hands on him so he can either do something to them or get them locked up, right? He definitely calls the police a whole lot, okay? Now, so he's harassing a disabled veteran. I want to say the veteran said, I have PTSD, leave me alone. So they get into it. Chud's getting beat. He pulls out. He shoots the veteran. He's okay. He's okay. And then he shot himself. When they said he shot himself, I want to say in the arm or something. But do you know what that means? He was horrified. All that tough talk, all that messing with black folks, thinking you're trying to get a rise out of them, and you're definitely getting a lot of attention online from the racists in America, right? You're definitely getting a lot of attention, but you're so scared when it's time to go into battle, which you've been asking for a long time. You shoot yourself, and then you get arrested. And then you get locked up. Not only did you get locked up, you get charged with attempted murder. I'm sorry, proper English. Attempted murder. That's what you got charged with. And your bail is what? $1.25 million is your bail. Now, all over social media, a whole bunch of racists that love him are crying, saying the bail is too high, saying that it shouldn't be that high because there are other folks with the same charge and the bail is way less. But guess what? Those other folks aren't walking around bothering people on purpose. Those other folks didn't have five police officers, from what I understand, five police officers as eyewitnesses that you instigated this situation. See, this stand your ground thing has folks confused. When you have um when you have a carrier's permit, conceal or show it, right? When you're able to carry a gun, your responsibility to not get in stuff is far beyond somebody just walking around and not strapped. You're supposed to walk away. You definitely can't instigate anything. Somebody has to be Somebody has to be um, assaulting you in a way that you think that your life is in danger. Somebody has to be very aggressive with you without you doing anything. Those are the laws. But he has police officers that I'm sure he thought were going to be on his side. And they like, nah, he's a detriment to this area and to black people in the area specifically. We got to keep him off the street. 1.25 million is the bail. And here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. The jail that he's at released a phone call. He left a message for the influencer Aiden Ross. I want to say Aiden Ross is if he has access to Aiden Ross, we got to take you as a racist too. If racists got your number and they're talking about help me out, come bail me out, and I'll do anything you need for free online, I'm just gonna work for you, just get me out. I can't I can't access any money because whatever, because I'm down, then we got to take Aiden Ross as a racist too. And I've heard his name, but I haven't looked into him. But I don't need to. If racists got your number and they leaving you messages like "get me out" after I've been very racist towards a brother and shot him, yeah, we got to take you, Aiden. It's just gonna be what it is. Now, Aiden Ross came out and said, "Nah," which is the best thing for him to say. Whether he wanted to or not, business wise, it's best to say no. Let him do what he do. But here's the thing about this racist country. Chud the Builder, since he's been charged, has raised $130,000. Picture that. Picture somebody in the black community getting an attempted murder charge and then able to raise in less than a week $130,000 because the people giving him the money don't think it was that bad. They think what he's doing is okay. They think what he's doing is proper in their mind. Way to go. Let me slide you 20, $25. Let me slide you $100. They shouldn't have arrested you. It was only a black man. That's the mentality of those that want. Now actually, if he can't access the 130, if he can access the 130, he can get out. 10% bail is 10%. You can put up the whole 1.25 and get it back when he goes to court. Or you can pay the 10% to a bail bondsman, and the bail bondsman insurance will guarantee he comes to court. But just 10%, right? 10% is 125,000. He's already raised that. Already raised that. Imagine the hate of all those folks that don't want to see him locked up. That's crazy, right? That goes back to what I was saying earlier. We're at war with everybody and ourselves. Facing 60 years. That's what he's facing. So he might not ever see the streets again. And oh, this is this is also watching things online about this specific story. This is what I didn't comprehend. I'm gonna say it that way because he's racist. So you feel as though maybe not in jail, but when he goes to prison, probably going to be divided up racially. This is what I heard. The white supremacist not going to want to deal with him, not because he hates black folks, but because he used the police every time a black person got on his ass. He was calling 911 or requesting people call 911 after he starts it. And from what I understand, well, the white supremacists and those hardcore racists that break law, they kind of think of the law the way the black man think of the law. We don't call y'all for nothing. We deal with it or we let it go. We don't call y'all for nothing. We handle our business. That's their mentality. So to take him now, they might take him in and pimp him out, use him. He might be the dude on the yard wearing the big coat in the middle of summer, but he holding 10 knives in case something kick off. He might be that dude because that happens. Things like that happen. He might be getting extorted. We need 500 a month on this book. We need 100 on his books. We need 100 on his book. We need on 5 dudes every month, or you're not in protection anymore. That happens. So I can see things like that happening. But from what I understand, they're not dealing with him. So they're not going to deal with it. But I promise you this: he can't comprehend where he is right now. He can't comprehend that this system allowed him to get locked up and charged with a attempted murder, and then the bail be so high that he can't go home. Do you know what he would be doing right now if he was home? He would be talking about the case, cashing out. He would be cashing out if he was home right now. So I'm glad they held him. I'm glad that he's starting his sentence right now. Maybe when he get his time, the judge at the end will say, "You're getting credited for these 18 months that you sat because ain't nobody bailed you out." Oh, I forgot about the ultimate good news on this Chud the Bill. Baby moms, I don't think it's his wife. So he has a child with a woman that um, is named after Chud the Builder. I don't know his real name, but whatever it is, he's got a junior. The mother is going to court to change that baby's name because she doesn't want that name to follow her child, which is highly intelligent. I'm not going to act like it's not. That's highly intelligent because his name is going to be researched for years to come. And I don't know how old the child is. I know it's a small child, but I have no idea how old the child is. But she's intelligent in that aspect. Not in the aspect of having a baby with this fool, but in the aspect of I don't want my child to be associated with his father. With what? I think that's hilarious to me. To me, because I would be hurt that my child that I'm such a hole that my children's mother want to change my child's name. She might be changing the baby's whole name, including the last name. Let me get a baby my name. Let me get a baby my father's name, his granddaddy's name. Let me do something like that because it can't be his. Can't be. Everything's wrong with the baby. I can't. And then if he grows up and looks like him, anyway, anyway, um, that other than the brother that got shot in this situation, I like how this situation turned out, and the brother's okay, like I said, and hopefully, um, it's been some crowd funding for that brother, and he's okay when he gets out the hospital where he can situate himself. From what I understand, like I said, he was a vet. He got PTSD, and he can get the proper therapy. And he can get the proper medication or anything else he needs. I hope that there's crowdfunding going for that young man, um, as well as I'm happy that Chubb the Builder is sitting, eating whatever. I don't care what you eat. Eating a hookup. Nah, you ain't like sharing. Somebody might, and that's another thing. Somebody might be at him for the rest of his life. Somebody might be at him when given the chance. And let me say this before I switch gears. When he gets convicted, let's say when he gets convicted, he goes to where the murderers are, to where the most dangerous people are. He's not going, when he gets classified, He's going to get classified as a danger forever. He's probably never going to get downgraded. I definitely like that. I definitely like that. We can ready to change gears. I got to check these cameras. My hour, usually they mess with me about an hour. TikTok, I got to let them know I'm still live. But anyway, let me see what we can play. Hold on. Play that. Yeah, let's play that. Oh no. Let's talk about that now. Yeah, I'm going to play something that we're going to talk about next. Hey, I'm an old school head, so we're going to have to listen to this old school song. We'll be back in a minute, folks. I just got one question. One question for you fat dudes. Just one question. Oh, no. Oh, my bad. Okay, we got started. I got one question for you fat dudes. Just one question for you fat dudes. Hey, folks, welcome back to the wind down. We got one question. I'm only asking. We already talk about obesity, right? But I can only ask. I can only ask the men. Can she feel it, homie? Can she? Anyway, let's get into it. I have a question before we get into this. Now I'm playing about can she feel it, but it's real. It's real. From what I understand, as you get bigger, you lose inches and centimeters and then she can all that. Anyway, right? My question, my serious question is, what does your doctor say? I understand that there are a lot of overweight folks that are okay with being overweight. And I'm not beefing about that. I'm not beefing about you loving yourself because you should love yourself, but you also should be honest about the situation you're in. What does the doctor say when you get that blood work done? When you stand on that scale? When y'all talk about your diet and your exercise regimen? What does okay, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Specifically, I'm talking to the black family. Specifically, I'm talking to the black family. So here go the numbers. 50% of black women are considered obese. They're saying 50%. 38% of the black men are considered obese, right? I didn't know this aspect when I did my study, and I didn't know obesity is considered a chronic disease. What? I don't understand that. I know that obesity brings on chronic diseases, but I don't understand how overeating and not exercising and not caring is a chronic disease. But it is. That's what my studying got. So let's talk about some of the different chronic diseases that obesity causes. Say it that obesity causes. Type 2 diabetes, heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, cholesterol, and 13 cancers. Just think about that for a second, folks. 13 different cancers can attack your body because you're out of shape. Let's get into some of the cancers. Breast cancer, colon, ovarian, kidney, liver, pancreatic, gallbladder, upper stomach. I ain't even know. I ain't know. And I'm gonna try to pronounce this. I know what they talking about. Esophageal, esophageal, talking about your throat, and thyroid. Now, out of all that stuff, I'm thinking in my head the different people through the years in my life or conversations I've had or I've come across certain things of these things affecting my folks, right? The black family. How it's all except for um uh, I would think I'm gonna say except for the throat cancer. Except for that, I could see all I could understand all of this because me thinking throat cancer comes from smoking cigarettes, smoking cigars. That's my thought process when I hear something like that. But this was last year sometime. I actually made a video saying that we love food so much, we'll eat it until they take a leg. Think about that for just 1 second. That's that type 2 diabetes. We will eat bad food for us years after the doctor because we're not gonna act like um that you go in to see the doctor one time and they be like, "Hey, we gotta take that leg. Yeah, you got heart disease." No, it's gradual, and maybe because we do have a stereotype of men not liking to go to the doctor, but you know when something's wrong with you. You know you're not supposed to be weighing 300 pounds and you 5'7". Just looking like a bowling ball. Muscle mass gone. Can't even see it. Probably can't even. All right, I'm going to say the story. Yeah, I ain't going to say it. So it's a sister that I heard, right? I'm getting the story second, third hand, right? And her dude is so big now and unsexy, right? Probably has ED because he's definitely over 300 pounds. His wife is thinking about hitting him with the Ozempic shot while he sleeps. Now, actually, that's not good. That's very, very dangerous. That's very dangerous. But that's how she feels about him not wanting to get up and exercise or eat better and look better and feel better. Isn't that crazy? Um, but I have to ask the question: what does your doctor say? And how long has your doctor been telling you the same thing? And you ready to get limbs took? You ready to take all these medications with all these side effects instead of eating properly and exercise? And if you're overweight, when we say exercise, we're basically talking about walking. Throw a sweatshirt and a couple shirts on and go walk for half a mile at a time. Do some. They got chair yoga and chair exercises and all that kind of stuff. You there is no reason other than you're good or you don't even want to do it. You don't have the energy. You eating yourself into a space where that's your thought process. Just hey, bring me them bag of chips. No, the family side. That's for me, right? That obesity. Oh, wait a minute. High school. High schoolers. Black boys, 8% are obese. 8%. Black girls, 55%. Now, why is that big? I kind of understand why that disparity is. As young men, we're active. Even if we don't play sports on a team in high school, we go home and hit the court because our boys on the court. We go home and do certain things because that's what our boys do, or that's the environment that we grew up in. That's what we play. Us, we played football. When it snowed out, we playing football. Certain days, it's a nice day out. We coming out, and all the young men in the neighborhood, we playing football. No pads, but we playing tackle. We ripping and running for a couple hours, having fun and exercising. We didn't see it as exercise. We just saw it as childhood. That's a crazy amount of young ladies that are obese and they're not moving. And more likely than not, at least one of their parents is obese because that's who's feeding, that's who's cooking for them, or that's who's ordering at the drive-through window for them. It's not going to be. It's not. You're not going to see slim parents and real big children. That's that's going to be very rare. You're not going to see active parents that exercise and have a history of playing sports and things of that nature, and the children are just big and don't want to do anything. You're not going to see that very often, right? Okay. Okay. Beyond what does the doctor say, I got one more question for you. What does your mattress say? What does your mattress say? Is it a big dent where you are? You just roll into the dent and just sit in there real snug, like you got armrests because you so low and the rest of the bed is up from where you lay at. Are you that big? And yeah, I'm being a little rough, but I don't care because this is a situation that is taking black folks out at an alarming rate. That's keeping us at the hospital taking these pharmaceutical meds, right? Allowing them to just make money off of us because we just I'm gonna get a pill for this. Yeah, I'm gonna let the doctor go ahead and prescribe me something else for this. Yeah, I'm gonna get the. I know I'm so big, I almost pass away because I can't breathe at night. So I'm just gonna get the CPAP machine and look crazy to my lady or to my man, but I need to breathe. And I ain't gonna do nothing about it, but keep going to the doctor and asking him, "Hey doc, what you got for me, doc? What you got?" Yeah, I know I gained 5 pounds, and I just saw you 2 months ago. I know I gained 5 pounds, and I'm gonna gain five more. What you got for me? Right? Right. Right. It's absurd, folks, in my opinion. But we got to work on it. We have to work on. And I listen. I'm gonna be honest right now. I'm not a big dude at all. I'm not a big dude, but I do know um, the ailments that I do have, which is gout and joint issues. That's diet and exercise. And I'm working. Anybody that knows me understands I'm fighting it hard. Change my diet up, change it again. Let me see if this works. Let me see if that works. Let me get this herbal tea. Let me do this. I try my best to stay off of these pharmaceutical meds because they're forever. They just mask the problem. They don't solve anything. You solve the problem with your action, with your diet and your exercise, and how you think about yourself and your self worth. That's how you fix problems. The meds, yeah, it'll help you start to move a little bit better, but they're not supposed to be used forever. And I'm not telling anybody not to take the meds. They're to be used. Western medicine is to be used. It's just not to be used forever because most medications you have to get your kidneys checked every 90 days to 6 months. And if you have to get your kidneys checked constantly because of the medication really not good for you. It's masking your issues. So it's while it's masking the issues, get up and go for a walk. Change your diet up. Go 2 days a week without meat. Go 3 days a week without bread and pasta and potatoes. It don't have to be all at once. It doesn't have to be a drastic change right now. It can be gradual because as you see improvement in your mobility, in your blood work, in your blood pressure, you'll want to do more and you'll want to keep going on what you're doing, right? Just my thoughts on obesity um, and this chronic issue within the black community. Within the black community. Now let's switch gears. We're gonna switch gears. What are we gonna talk about? Oh, I do wanna say this. I do wanna say this. Um, I wanna I constantly ask this just to put black folks in a proper mindset because many of us talk about we're pro black, right? Many of us talk about we're pro black. Oh, my bad. Many of us talk about we're pro black, but I got a question for you in about 7, 8 seconds. Hold on. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, black. I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm back. And I'm back. Have you spoken to your neighbors? Do you speak to your neighbors? That's the in my opinion, that's the most pro black thing we can do as a community. Do you speak nothing first and foremost your house, right? We're talking about solving issues. Your house. House has to control the house, make it better, however it goes, right? Then as soon as you step outside, you should be cordial to the people that you live next door to, across the street from, the people that you see walking to the dumpster, maybe walking to the laundromat, maybe just walking to exercise, but you know they live in the neighborhood. You don't speak. You don't say, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on, bro?" You don't give them the head nod. You just walk on and mind your business. Don't tell me you're pro black. Don't tell me about all the black designers you got. Don't tell me about all the black stores you go to. Don't tell me about all the pro black posts that you repost and all. Don't tell me about that if you can't talk to your black neighbors. If you're that hard on the inside, but you so pro black, that's fake to me. That's fake. And this is the kicker about speaking to your neighbors. They will start to speak. They will be looking for you to speak. And some of them will make sure they speak first because that's just how we are. We have to break the ice. So break the ice. What's going on, bro? And go on about your business. What's going on, bro? How you doing? And go on about your business. You walking down the sidewalk, you see kids playing. Hey, how y'all doing today? They gonna speak. That's relaxing them. And you know what else? As far as black men, when you speak to black women in passing, not trying to holler, none of that, just speak. It relaxes them a little bit. It lets her know that she's not in danger. Because when you're walking towards her, depending on what you have on, depending on what she's been through in her life, depending on her mentality, she's on guard because you walking towards her. Especially if it's 2 or 3 brothers, y'all might be just chilling. How you doing? Cutting now. When I was younger, we stopped the profanity. Well, when any kind of older folks came around, we stopped the profanity. You men walking down the sidewalk, you step on the grass or in the street when a woman is walking by and speak. How y'all ladies doing today? How you doing? That's it. It's not hard, but it seems to be so hard for us. But it'll break down your hard shell, and it needs to be broke down for your community. I ain't saying don't keep it, and I ain't saying everybody ain't is I'm gonna say we have many dangerous folks in our community who understand. That's not what I'm talking about. Because even the most dangerous dude will speak to you. He will. That don't mean he mean. That just mean when he get there, he dangerous. But he'll speak, hey, what's going on, bruh? He'll be like, ain't nothing, bruh. What's going on? And y'all just walk past each other. That might relax him. It should make you feel good that you speaking to your people and and I'm not gonna say you're forcing them to talk back to you, but you are putting it in their court. And not too many folks are just gonna stare at you and not speak. Not too many. Most will speak. Most will speak. Um, let's change. I just have to always put that out there because that's the biggest thing we could do, but it's so small. Speaking to your neighbor, speaking to people that pass by, right? That's just that, just that. Anyway, let's go back a little bit on this obesity because it's something I knew I something that I missed. Real quick though, real quick. Mental and emotional symptoms. This is for obese folks. Increased stress. Oh no. Oh no. That's it. My bad. It's not about the stress. All right, let's get into it then. Since I started reading, let's get into it. Do y'all notice? I have a theory. I have a theory. But do y'all notice there are a lot of black women that most of their posts is putting down black men, right? And then on the flip side, you have a whole bunch of black men, and most of their posts is putting down black women, right? I have a theory about that. And my theory is they lonely. They ain't getting none. They ain't getting none. You talk to you, and I'm gonna say this to the women. I don't know about the dudes, but I'm gonna say this to the women. If you're on social media and if you're in your social circle and every time a man comes up or a conversation about men come up and you're downing and saying what men do and ain't do and all that, you ain't gonna never get one, love. Don't no man want to deal with that. Can we understand that? No man wants to deal with a woman that's coming with preconceived notions about him, yet she don't know him. And I'm sure it's the same with the women and the men that are down. Don't no woman want to look on your what's your name? Yeah, I'm gonna check your page out. And you check the page out and everything is negative about women. You think she wanna holler at you, homie? Huh? You ain't getting none. You ain't getting. You're the most miserable folks that I see online. It's misery, but it's disguised as they not acting right. It's on them. It's not me. It's them that's not acting right. So I'm gonna talk about it because that's the only thing on my mind, which means you don't have time for nothing else to be on your mind except negativity about the opposite sex. So I know you ain't getting none. That's a definite. Um, let me see. Mood swing. Oh, wait a minute, there we go. There we go. Let me get to this straight. Screenshot. I got that mood swing, decreased libido. That means when you ain't getting none, I understand the mood swing, but your libido goes down the longer you wait to have I'm gonna say a relationship, someone to be sexual with on a regular basis. Your libido drops, which means you don't want it less and less. I don't want it. Okay. Anyway. All right, here we go. This is about people that are not having sex on a regular basis. You miserable folks online. Here we go. Mental and emotional symptoms. Increased stress. Endorphins released during sex helps relieve stress and pain. A lack of them can lead to feeling overwhelmed or irritable. Y'all know some folks. Y'all know some folks, and in your mind, you know they need to get some. Yeah, they tripping right now. They need to get some. They just irritable right now. Low mood. You may experience heightened anxiety, frustration, or symptom depression. Yeah, I'll be depressed. I'm with that one right there. I might be a little bit depressed too. Now this says relationship strain, discrepancies in libido, or a lack of physical intimacy can cause emotional disconnect, guilt, or tension with a partner. That means you got somebody and you ain't getting it. You don't even want it for whatever reason. Now we might have to go back to that obesity issue. We might have to go back to that obesity issue concerning this right here, right? You got a partner and you ain't getting none. Can she feel it? Physical symptoms: decreased arousal, libido. Going without sex for a long time can cause the body to require more stimulation to achieve arousal. That means an erection. It can also lead to a further drop in your sex drive. Remember, you used to like it every day? Then you went through a drought because you complaining about everybody and you don't want to be around the opposite sex. And it's been a year, year and a half. You don't even want it every day. You don't even want it every day no more. I don't want to do that. Uh-oh. It's the ladies right here. Vaginal changes. For women, a lack of regular sexual activity, especially post-menopause, can lead to thinning vaginal walls, decreased elasticity, and vaginal dryness. Ladies, if that ain't a reason to get a little friend, I mean, somebody you cool with, somebody you know, but if that ain't a reason, it's on you. I ain't, It's funny to me though, because I promise you, a lot of these folks are the ones online just always, always complaining about what? The opposite sex. I try not to, or I try to be specific. I'll say it that way. Or if you on the West Coast, pussy. Anyway, we going to switch gears. Yeah, I want to talk about some pro-black stuff to end the show. What am I play though? What am I play? All right, we can play that. This is the wind down. I am your host. Derek Graham. We are live two places at the same time. Facebook, Derek E. Graham. Don't forget the E. It's much easier to find me. And also on TikTok, Amaruk, AMARUK _ son of an immortal. And we'll be back in a minute, folks. Hey, folks, welcome back to the wind down. That was Junior Gong, Marley, and Nas. Well, Marley has a lot of kids. A lot of kids. Anyway, all of them can sing, it seems like. But patient, patient. I think we need to work on that. Have patience, but move urgently because change is hard. Change has to be forced. You understand? I'm talking about the black community and what we need to change. It has to be forced. It has to become very popular. So that process, we need the patience. But we need the urgency of those that have the mindset to do certain things to do it now. And then sit back and watch as you're doing it, the more people will add on and add on and add on. And it may become a movement, right? So what am I talking about? Specifically, I'm talking about the NAACP coming out speaking on the gerrymandering that's going on as far as black folks and congressional seats and basically the racist white folks taking them through gerrymandering, right? So they've come out and said that they want students to boycott all of those gerrymandered states, which is mostly southern states for the most part, right? They want the college students that go to those PWIs, predominantly white institutions, to not go or not play for them. Even though if you're at a PWI and you're on a sports team, most likely you got 100% scholarship. Most likely, right? Most likely. Okay. But I needed to go deeper. And what do I mean by deeper? All of those athletes should be HBCU. And I understand HBCUs are underfunded. The other schools, their sporting. Dion kind of proved what I'm getting ready to say. Um, the other schools have the money to do things better, to hire coaches, to have better facilities, to have better services concerning your athlete, probably even better diet. That's very possible because they have the money. But where the money come from? The money come from them sports teams winning stuff. That's where a lot of that money comes. The tuition, definitely. But those sports teams are getting money because of the donations from alumni, as well as a lot of TV contracts to play on. Listen, folks, that TV money is no joke. That's the HBCU money, and I understand it's a shift if major black athletes coming out of high school choose a HBCU, but to an extent, it's dangerous. We hear about things here and there on certain college campuses concerning black folks and them being the minority on a very large scale, where it's just athletes that are the black. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, I'll say that it's dangerous. Um, and also NAACP, why wouldn't you say anything to the pro sports players, the ones that already got the money, the ones that already are investing and doing things and are good? Why aren't we stressing to them, don't step on that court? You play for who? Nah, don't step on that court. Y'all gonna go visit who? Nah, you don't play that game. You don't have to play. They can do that too. And they can use whatever they want to use as an excuse because there's too many legal excuses. Listen, they could use what the police use. I'm in fear of my life. All that racism down there, I'm in fear to go play there. I'm hurt. I'm retired. And then when they work everything back out, guess what you say? I'm coming out of retirement. There are things that we can do to save ourselves and prove a point and force. Remember, folks, remember, every everything that black folks got in this country, we forced white folks to do. We can't act like they were just doing things because it was the right thing. No, 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 no. We forced, even right down to Lincoln and the Emancipation Proclamation. We forced that. It's well over 200 documented slave insurrection. We were bucking on a regular. They don't tell you that. They make Lincoln the hero. And what Lincoln understood was they fighting back too much. They killing too many. They all of them are running north and leaving. That's what was going on. We forced the emancipation, just like we forced the Voters Act. And then we got relaxed. And we got integrated. And we got integrated and we so relaxed that the white folks are like, we ain't never want to be integrated with these fools. We ain't never, so let's take it back. That's why they keep on saying, make America great again. When was it great for us? It was never great for us, but it was great for them when they could do whatever they wanted to do to us and it be no please remember this. Look this book up if you don't believe. They used to eat us. And I'm not saying they still don't. When all these black children are disappearing, that's very possible. They had a cookbook called, I think it's a cookbook, The Delectable Negro. They used to cook us, folks. They turned, what's the brother? Nat Turner. Nat Turner. When they captured and killed him, they say they, however they got it out, I don't know the process, but They made oil of his body and sold it or passed it out to certain folks, probably higher up folks, because they understand our magic and they want it. And they want it, but they can't have it because it's ours. Naturally, it's ours. Naturally, right? Okay. So we got the HBCU athlete, we got the pro athlete, and I'm gonna say this to not just pro athletes. I'm gonna say this to entertainers that are well off, as well as business people that are very well off. If you didn't go to a HBCU, since they want to take us back to 64, go back in your mind to 64 and think about which HBCU you would have gone to, and then donate and build it up. And build it up, not just with athletics, with everything. Donate to the HBCU they would have made you go to. Just have an understanding. We can be separate and integrated at the same time, folks. We can. Many of us are. When you look outside at your neighborhood, it's very separate. It's very separate. But then when we go to work, we integrate and we be cordial to get our money. And then when we go to stores, when we go hang out, for the most part, we're very separate. So let's do it on purpose. Not just because we're gonna push out economics more towards separation than integration. And watch how they come and say, what's wrong? What do y'all need? And we going to say nothing. We just see how y'all act when y'all get a chance. Because, see, this voting rights thing, it's just because they have certain numbers of folks that think the same. They have the Supreme Court that thinks the same. So it's a condition that they know we got to do this right now, or we'll never get a chance to do it. They understand that, and we don't. We're fighting backwards. Oh, man, y'all, if we would have kept, how can I put it? If we would have kept on pushing for laws and policies and guarantees and things that they can't change and things of that nature, we would have been far better off and still in our own community and still with our own stores and farms and clothing brands and restaurants and banks, brick and mortar banks, right? That's the goal. But we in a bad situation right now because these racist white folks are acting up right now. And a lot of us, we just having fun, folks. We not even, oh man, they messed up. But I'm going to this party. Yeah, boy, I'm going to go buy I'm going to go stand in line and get some shoes. That's us, right? Many of them. Of course not all. Of course not all. Now, I want to slide a little bit because this is on the same topic of how we should move in this racist climate, right? I want to talk about Killer Mike. And Killer Mike, he came out and acknowledged, because I want to say maybe when the voter rights got stripped, Killer Mike caught a lot of flack because he was telling people not to vote for Kamala, right? Not to vote for. So he caught a lot of slack, and he apologized. But he's one of our boots on the ground soldiers. He's one of the black men that actually doing things that matter. I'm gonna say that matter. So what is Killer Mike getting into? Killer Mike is co-launching, which means he has a business partner, rent-to-own homes, which we've seen in Baltimore. You see those signs up periodically, but there's never been a company that's going out their way to do this. And I haven't got it. When I get the specifics, I'll get into it a little bit more, right? Because they haven't found any of the homes they're looking for. They're actively seeking sites across the greater Atlanta. So that's his home. He's the ATL dude. So that's his home. Um, uh, we have to understand that when we make mistakes, because he missed the mark with Trump. When we make mistakes, we don't stop the struggle. We make a correction and we keep stepping. We get chastised, we apologize, and we do better. Because it's only the actions of doing better to let me know your apology means something, right? That's just in life. Don't apologize to me and I see you doing the same thing. That apology wasn't nothing. That was just to get me off your neck for right now, right? Right, right. Killer Mike is one of those jewels that we have to hold on to. Killer Mike is one of those men, one of those black men that stands on what he says, even if he makes a mistake. He stood on his apology. And then he popped up with something that they've probably been working on for a minute, but it just got announced, right? Rent to own. He's trying to change your family's worth. He has a clear understanding that owning something assists with life. It assists when you have equity in a home, and equity is the difference between what the house is worth and what you own on it. And in the middle, that's the equity, right? You can start businesses. You can send your children to school debt free. You can uh, take out a loan just to put the money up and restart the process. But once you own it, it's so much more you can do for your family as well as yourself. But when I say family, I mean those that aren't here yet. That one house can start off a whole lot, a wonderful process for your bloodline to be good. And I think I know Killer Mike understands that process better than most because I want to say he's been in real estate for a minute. So this idea of rent to own homes, I want to see how long. Because if it's 30 years, if you're paying a regular, if you're paying a regular mortgage, you're paying a regular mortgage. Or maybe pay it for 10 years and get the equity down so much that a bank might snatch it up or something like that, right? But when I get more information and details on it, I'll let you know. But it's a wonderful thing to see folks pushing forward regardless of this racist climate and that we're just not fighting them. We're preparing ourselves to just be better no matter what they do. This is a no matter what they do situation. They can act the fool all they want, but we got rent to own homes over here. We got all our students safe at HBCUs, no matter how much y'all go off. We got good food in our community because we slowly got others out of our community that feed us anything. So y'all can act the fool all y'all want. We good. That's what I mean by separating. That's what I mean. Separate. But it's the end of the show, folks. And Wednesday, this is the wind down. Wednesday, 7 to 9, right here. TikTok, Facebook. Y'all see, well, those who know, they see me. Y'all see me all week online. I will be. I got some things together where I'm getting ready to start having phone interviews with professionals of specific fields, as well as I just have a better feel for things. I knew it was going to take me a minute. This is about week 5 or 6, but I'm up and running now. I'm up and running the way I want to be, and the wind down, folks. We definitely got a lot to talk. Oh, let me see. Let me see how we gonna take it out here. My bad. Oh no, we're gonna play the roots. Yeah, we definitely playing the roots. Hey, it's the wind down. I see you next week. Wait a minute. Yeah. It's the wind down. We'll see you next Wednesday, right here, 7 to 9. Peace.